Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, loaded AEW Dynamite last night. When I say loaded, I mean there's a lot going on. Some of it was promising, some of it not so much. We're going to talk about a tale of two Dynamites today. Also, in our main event segment, we're going to review NXT on the road to Halloween Havoc. What an exciting time it is to be an NXT fan, wall to wall. Couldn't even get through it. Action. We're going to talk about that in our main event segment. That means it's the most important thing we talk about today, Larson.
Yeah, you know, whatever goes on last is, of course, the main event.
Right. Well, not questions is actually the main event, but for the purposes of the NXT fans who claim that we hate NXT,
well, here's
our
the
main
thing.
event.
Questions is like our post-show media scrum section of the show. There,
Good
for
point.
NXT main event. Yeah.
Good point. Good save. Good save. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, AEW Dynamite last night. Like I sort of indicated, from my point of view, anyways, I'm interested to get your thoughts. Of course, I think that the Mox World Order stuff, I'll be honest with you, I like a lot of the stuff that they're doing with that and kind of some of the stories thematically that are in its orbit, like the Private Party Young Buck stuff, because they got a match coming up next week. Orange Cassidy, you know, him being obviously featured as maybe the one that'll take down Jonathan Moxley, or at least the next to step up to him, I think is pretty decent stuff. So we're gonna chop that all up. And then on the other hand, really good, really fun ladder match last night with a result that I don't know about, man. Jericho is the new Ring of Honor champion, now a 2-time Ring of Honor champion.
Like, are they trying to get Ring of Honor a TV deal or something? And think that Jericho's name still carries some weight.
Hey,
therefore is going to lead to a TV deal. That's like what he wanted the first time. I was like, oh, maybe they're trying to get a TV deal for Ring of Honor. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, you know, hey, it worked for us. Speaking as AEW, as Tony Khan, it worked for us when we were launching the company. He was first champ. So let's put the belt on him, Ring of Honor title. See if we can go get ourselves a TV deal for Ring of Honor. Of course, didn't happen. Maybe now that the renewal with Warner Brothers Discovery has been settled, they're making a ton of money next year off AEW alone. Hey, let's revisit, try and get Ring of Honor a TV deal. In the process, let's put the title on Chris Jericho because there's still some name value attached to his name, especially for people who don't actually watch AEW.
Dude, yeah, there's no way to know. I mean, I guess that's a possibility, but man, you're going to need to do a lot more with Ring of Honor than put that title on Jericho.
Here's the thing, if it's not that, if it's simply we want to use Chris Jericho to get Mark Briscoe more over.
Well,
you're following the same formula you use with Hook. Basically, almost beat for beat. I think Hook beat Jericho the first time. Jericho beat him the second time, had the belt for 2 months, only for Hook to get it back. It's not inspired storytelling if the goal is to get Mark Briscoe over even more.
Yeah. Do they do Ring of Honor pay-per-views anymore?
Yeah, they do. I think they're quarterly, maybe.
Okay, hold on. 2024. Oh, here we go. They did April 5th and July 26th.
Yeah, Death Before Dishonor is the summer one, right? And then Final Battle is the one at the end of the year.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, they did 3 last year in 2023. They did 3 in 2022. So yeah, there should be one in December. I guess the assumption could also be, if it's not a TV deal, if it's not trying to get the young hot superstar Mark Briscoe over, it's going to be Jericho in the main event of a pay-per-view could sell some pay-per-view buys.
I don't know, but like who's watching Ring of Honor? Probably people who already watch AEW. And I know not everybody's sick of seeing Chris Jericho on their TV. I think a lot of people are. So I don't know if putting the title on Chris Jericho to try to get more buys for Ring of Honor pay-per-view is necessarily going to lead to the desired result.
Well, Chris Jericho probably thinks so.
I mean, that's true. Probably does.
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know the reason. I kind of feel like the pay-per-view thing might be the thing. You know, Mark gets his rematch, but you really want to have, I don't know, the way they use that Ring of Honor title anyways leaves so much to be desired. I know nothing about Ring of Honor other than at this point right now in October 2024, other than Athena should be on cable television and not still there. I know that much.
Yeah.
And I know that it'd be a lot more exciting if anybody else had that Ring of Honor title than Chris Jericho. And I'll be honest with you, like, as I like Mark Briscoe, don't get me wrong, but you can't tell me that like he's the one that's going to be, getting people excited to tune into Ring of Honor behind that paywall.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially the way they use him. Like, he's eating pins on Dynamite and shit.
Yeah,
I
know.
Collision.
It's a situation where it's like, other than Athena, I don't know. And look, I like Mark Briscoe a lot. I think
he's great.
He gives us all for every match.
Yeah.
And the ladder match last night, despite the outcome, was wildly entertaining, largely because of Mark Briscoe.
Mm-hmm, sure.
But yeah, so I'll say, other than Mark Briscoe and Athena, I don't know who the standout talents are in Ring of Honor. Tony Khan has not done a good job of marketing Ring of Honor to highlight the stars they're building that brand around, because I wonder if he even knows who he's building that brand around. What is the identity of Ring of Honor? Does he even know that?
Well, it's funny because when he first bought it and when they first were relaunching it, it was like, okay, hey, maybe it's going to be like the NXT for AEW's main roster. And it's clearly not that. Like, one of the cooler aspect of NXT has traditionally been the call up. It's like you build these stars in a place where people generally have access to it. They don't just plunk down an extra $10 a month or whatever Honor Club costs. I don't even know how much it costs to get it. And then, but I think Ring of Honor just sort of turned into the replacement for Dark.
Kind of, yeah.
What was the other one called? Dark Elevation.
Yeah. And when they relaunched Ring of Honor, it kind of seemed like that might be the case. Not necessarily developmental, but AEW's NXT, because they had a lot of the younger talent that they had signed move over to Ring of Honor. You thought, cool. There's some interesting stuff that can happen there and allow people at that time like Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, Lee Moriarty, to get a lot more reps on TV, pick up some wins, which were kind of hard to come by on TV, and build up their respective brands so that when they return to AEW TV, more established, fans will get behind them, get them involved in some interesting stories.
Yeah.
And that seemed to go out the window super quick, and it was just, I don't know what Ring of Honor is supposed to be at this juncture.
Yeah, neither do I. Let's talk about the good.
Yeah.
The Mox World Order, Orange Cassidy. It does feel like there's a big threat to AEW. I think there's a couple things they could do to even improve on what they're doing right now. But, an attempt is being made, and it's being felt throughout certain aspects of the company, and I feel like it should be felt throughout even more aspects of the company. But for right now, we've got this Garcia Orange Cassidy situation where you've got kind of like the faces of AEW, but none of them really seem like they're all that equipped to handle Mox and his guys. Because really, when you think about it, you got Orange Cassidy, Daniel Garcia. You've got Darby, but Darby's disappeared.
Yeah.
Darby wasn't on TV.
No, they said last week he disappeared. He's going to show up in the rafters at a few.
He's doing the Sting thing, right?
He's doing the Sting thing after the NWO was created,
Yeah, Mox mentioned him or referenced him in his promo. So he's gone. So right now it's up to Orange Cassidy. I don't think Orange Cassidy's going to be the guy. It seems like Darby's probably going to end up being the guy. But what do you like about this? What do you think could be improved about this?
So I understand the point about how it's only kind of occupying a sector of the roster. And I kind of feel two ways about it. Like, obviously, you have Ospreay involved in this feud that's seemingly never ending with the Don Callis family.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you want to bring Don Callis family into the Mox World Order just to bring Ospreay into that, I don't know. It seems like you're shoehorning things together at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Swerve and MVP and Shelton and soon to be Bobby Lashley.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of scenario where I don't know if you want to just literally draw a line in the sand, people fighting for AEW on one side, people fighting to, as Mox more or less puts it, elevate AEW. Well, pretty much the fight that exists now is Mox in his own way is trying to elevate AEW, and everybody else is like, I'm fine with AEW how it is. You know? That kind of is the vibe right now. It's kind of, I like a lot of this in terms of Mox and his Mox World Order is seen as threats. They're credible threats. They're vicious. They take people out. And I think it is going to be enough to inspire people like Orange Cassidy. We saw that bit last night. Daniel Garcia. Certainly Darby to step up to take them down. I still feel like the central premise with which Mox is working with isn't the strongest.
It's not, because who out of Darby, Orange, and Garcia represents what he's talking about? Like, who is he talking about? Like, he made his point with Private Party. He doesn't like people partying. You know, he tried to take out one dude with the hand.
Well, because he said you've been in the company for 5 years and you're in the same spot you were 5 years ago. That's what he said to Private Party.
He lit a fire under their ass. And guess what? They got a tag title shot next week. And guess what?
They win.
Good chance they win next week.
They should win. Like
Mission accomplished, Mox.
He told Darby that you don't have the ingredients to be world champion. I can't tell you why that is now, but you don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and...
Well, I mean, Mox has a good point, because, like, he beat Darby handedly and went on to win the world championship himself.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So you're right in that. Like, here is the thing. Wouldn't this be much wildly more effective if he did? Like, look, they had a couple of huge free agent signings. Okada, who's kind of like a comedy. He's not a comedy guy, but he's been using comedy to punctuate his character.
Yeah.
You got Okada. Mox could be disappointed in that. What did you decide to do? You decided to pal around with the guys who are kind of antithetical to what I see this company as being. The Young Bucks, the New Elite. Those guys are a bunch of flippy dudes, right? Like, that's not what this should be. This should be tough fighting. That's what people want to see, real fights. Well, Okada, Mox would have respect for Okada from New Japan. This new guy, I don't know if he'd like that. So, like, he could target him. Will Ospreay does a lot of cool shit. Mox might not like that because it's not fight stuff. Swerve Strickland, he's in a deathmatch feud with a forever deathmatch feud with Hangman Adam Page. Hey, you shouldn't be bringing syringes into this. This is supposed to be about tough guy fighting stuff.
The last thing Mox should be critical of anybody is any sort of a hardcore stuff. He took a head trimmer to the head once, didn't he?
I don't disagree with that, but bad guys can be hypocritical. You know what I mean?
I understand that, but again, I don't know.
I'm saying, why aren't they roping in the Savage, the Sting, and the
I
Luger?
understand, because
they're roping in the lower guys.
With other stuff right now. That's why.
No, whoa. Hold on a second though. That's from a backstage creative writing standpoint. Like, well, they got this going on there. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to elevate the young up-and-coming superstar Orange Cassidy.
That's Mox's, the 41-year-old Orange Cassidy.
Come on, you got to let me get my punchline in, man. You got to let me get my punchline in. The actual young Daniel Garcia, who recently re-signed, and the young Darby Allin, they're trying to elevate those guys, but, like, this is a big threat to the company. Why isn't Ospreay, like... What the fuck? Like, this guy Swerve.
It's the threat to the company, to the people who think AEW is cool how it is, which is apparently just Daniel Garcia, Orange Cassidy, and Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Maybe Mox's thing isn't so much I need my philosophy to infect all of AEW for it to succeed. I just need, I don't know, these 10 people to step up and start being better, and then the future is great for AEW. Maybe his scope is that limited.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not company-wide. Yeah. Because he could also, you just used your point about how other people could get involved in this. He can look at someone like Okada as like, yeah, Okada's kind of taking it easy now, but look what he did in Japan. I respect him because I know what's there.
Yeah, he deserves the break now. Yeah,
he deserves a break. Mox's been waiting for this fishing trip forever. He can look at Swerve. Swerve stepped up. Hangman stepped up. There's a lot of people seemingly that would be on the side of AEW who I feel like would meet Mox's criteria.
Yeah.
Therefore, he probably, and same with Ospreay. Oh, I've seen Ospreay get involved in those sorts of crazy, violent fights. Not like fights, but matches where it's crazy stunts, people landing on their head. You know, Mox is all about that.
Yeah.
And so he has my respect. Therefore, I'll leave him alone. It's these young dudes, including 41-year-old Orange Cassidy, that I have beef with because they could be doing so much more.
Like he's attacking the mid card.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, mid card.
Well, like, I mean, if that's the idea, you got your main event guy who's carrying around the world title in the briefcase so no one sees it.
Mm-hmm.
And use him to elevate mid-card wrestlers to main event wrestlers. I guess if that's the goal to help build for the future, then sure.
I think that is the goal, but you got your future. But here's the thing: your future has already been a world champion, Swerve Strickland. Your future is clearly a guy who's probably going to win it whenever they go to Wembley or whenever they go to England again. I don't know, Forbidden Door, I guess maybe.
It'll be Forbidden Door next year. That's
right.
That's in England.
So like I don't know. You've got like they signed their future.
Here's the thing that I just for me it bugs me. It's like the stated goal of the story, both in kayfabe and reality, is to elevate younger wrestlers.
Sure, yeah.
And I just feel like motivation for Mox, I get it. What's in it for him? Like directly.
Okay,
what's in it for Mox?
Okay, so his motivation
just the pride in knowing that, hey, I took AEW.
Yeah, because that was him. Him and Brian's original mission statement was we can build the future with guys like Moriarty. Where's Moriarty, by the way?
Oh, I don't know.
Is he on the shelf?
He's still with Shane Taylor, I think.
In Ring of Honor. Why isn't Shane Taylor Ring of Honor champion? See, that's a name that would be fucking awesome. That's what this is completely a fucking tangent. But I was thinking about that. Shane Taylor in Ring of Honor. Why isn't he champion? And then he gets his big call up. You know, this guy's been holding it down in Ring of Honor for a long time. Or they do a thing with him and Moriarty, and then Moriarty becomes champion.
Exactly.
Sorry, that was a tangent. But yeah, I mean, for Mox, the original mission statement was let's build the future of this company. And now it's like, not doing great on the heels of a huge television deal. And he's like, I want this to be what we had envisioned. And hot young superstar Orange Cassidy isn't that.
Yeah, I just don't feel like it's the strongest motivation for me to be like, oh, Mox, he's terrible. He's a villain.
The way it's presented is pretty cool, though.
It's not bad, but,
That's what I like about it. I like the present. I like when Orange Cassidy's like, oh, he gives a shit now. They had that exclusive.
How the story is being implemented, I like. It's just the genesis of the story, just for me, doesn't feel that strong.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with this. I mean, is this just a convoluted way to get the title on Darby Allin?
Which, in the end, if they do this right, will be a much better win for Darby as opposed to just beating Bryan Danielson.
I agree with that, and I think the roof will come off the place if they can. If Orange Cassidy steps up, Mox, violently dispatches of him. Garcia steps up, Mox violently dispatches of him.
You know what needs to happen with Orange Cassidy? Someone needs to turn on him. Like Kyle O'Reilly needs to turn on him and join Mox World Order.
What if Orange Cassidy joins? What if he's the third man? What if he joins the fifth man?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What if he or the sixth person?
Yeah.
Who's the sixth person?
Yeah.
What if Orange Cassidy joins Mox's group? Can't beat him? Join him.
Yeah, because Orange says, I don't know, you didn't think he could be a leader, which means he can be a follower of Mox.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I like how it's presented. They did this thing at the beginning where they're out in the desert. Remember that awesome workout
video that Ambrose did out in the desert? Yeah, I thought of that too.
Why was Moxley's jacket so new? Did you notice that? The jacket he was wearing in the desert?
Yeah.
Which is a funny juxtaposition in the first place. It was like so
Hey, man, it can get cold in the desert. High desert especially can get cold.
It looked, what do they call that? What I know Mikey Omega would know, the fashion, like the billionaire fashion thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's something fashion. I forget what it's called. But it's like billionaires wear it and they like know, oh, you must be super rich.
It's all the unbranded stuff, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it looked like that. He looked like he was coming, like he was going to be in Succession. Because that
gotta cue the Young Bucks theme then.
Yeah, there you go. That shit looks so new. And then of course he gets in the back of the car of the truck, and but no, I mean, I think there's some cool ideas here. I think this is what they need: t-shirts and a logo. That's what the NWO had.
Yeah, that would help.
Because like white t-shirt, white mediums are not going to cut it. anymore.
I feel like Mox. It needs to be clear that Mox is actually in it for something for himself.
T-shirt
Like,
money.
sure, that's fine. Financial gain's fine. You know.
Ooh, what if he has no financial? What if he's got like kind of like it's rumored that WWBD he has ownership stake in the company.
Oh, it wasn't Warner Brothers Discovery that has ownership stake.
Well, they both
It's
do.
Mox World Order.
As part of his new deal, Mox World Order Incorporated
There we
has a minority stake. He's got like a 11% stake in the company.
Well, that's a pretty substantial stake.
It is, yeah. He wants to see that, he wants to see the dividends for that. And the only way to do that is to make sure that the mid-carders become main eventers.
Huge new superstars. He's going to elevate.
Right,
Sure,
yeah.
That's fine.
He gets
That's
a little cut of the shirt merch. He's like, hey, you guys, your merch is not great. You're not filling up your buckets.
For me, haha. That's what he says. I fill up your buckets for me. I want that. Yeah.
For me, the money world order.
Something. Because I feel like his motivations, even though he's the way he's approaching it is not necessarily altruistic. The motivations are ultimately. And I get it. It's not like I don't understand it. It's I don't know. For someone who I'm supposed to not like, who is your villain, Mox.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's strong enough motivation for me to dislike him totally.
Well, they always play menacing music for his speeches.
That's manipulation, man. I see right through that.
And I don't. That to me, I'm like, oh, that's unsettling.
You hear a drone, you're like, oh, I'm not
that's
supposed to
unsettling
like this
music. Where is he? Is he behind me? Oh, no, he's in the desert rocking a brand new jacket. One size. It's funny. He wears a medium-sized shirt, but a double XL jacket.
Yeah.
Like it's a little too big.
It is. He likes to have the sleeves come down to where his thumb joint is.
He does, yeah. It's comfort.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're going to talk more about that, including an impromptu haircut that we saw last night on Dynamite in just a moment here. Larson, would you like to pay some bills?
Let's pay some bills. Let's take a quick break here. Get a word from our sponsor, DraftKings Pick 6. I got to be honest, Steve.
Good.
One of my favorite things about football season is going through post-game stats. I need to know who did what. Like, did this wide receiver score a couple touchdowns, or this quarterback throw for more or less than 350 yards? I need to know these things.
Oh, dude, no, I feel that, man. Well, if you think you can pick who will do what before kickoff, then play Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app, select between 2 and 6 players, and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. It's that simple. And for all first-time Pick 6 players, check this out. New customers play $5 on your first pick set. Get $50 in Pick 6 credits.
So download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code RAW. That's code RAW for new customers to play $5 on your first pick set. Get $50 in Pick 6 credits only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
As are these disclosures.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits expire in 6 months. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, Larson, and now we're going to get a word from our sponsor, Tacovas.
All right, Steve. Confession time.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, young Larson, I used to have a pair of Western boots I'd wear all the time. All the time. I think I wore the outsoles out. I wore them so often. But here's the thing about adult Larson, me now.
Yeah.
I don't think I could pull off Western boots now as adult Larson.
Nah, don't be ridiculous. Don't sell yourself short. I could totally see you rocking some Western boots from Tacovas. You see, Tacovas crafts quality Western boots for everybody, from ranchers to cowboys to first-time boot buyers like yourself. Every one of Tacovas boots are handcrafted with over 200 steps for broken-in comfort, and the ratings for Tacovas are off the charts. For example, Esquire says, "There's a reason we keep coming back to Tacovas." Reviewer after reviewer mentions that they fit great. They're super comfortable, and they're easy to put on. They're going to feel right out of the box. Plus, with Tacovas Best in the West guarantee, you get free returns and exchanges for 30 days.
Sounds like I owe it to my feet to pull on a pair of Tacovas. Right now, get 10% off at tacovas.com/raw when you sign up for email and text. That's 10% off at tecovas.com/raw. Tacovas.com/raw. See site for details. Tacovas. Point your toes west.
That's right. So we also had, before we talk about the big haircut, let's talk about who's going to face MJF at Full Gear, the upcoming pay-per-view.
It might. So we won't get this. It was a promo bit they had where Adam Cole comes out, Roddy interrupts. And, they both say, hey, we're still buddies. Roddy, Mike Bennett, Matt Taven lay out, hey, when you recruited us for your plan, we were all in because some of the best moments of our lives in our career are with you, Adam Cole, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then Roddy says, you're my best friend. I'm proud of how you fought back to get back in this ring from your ankle injury, but I want Max first.
Mm-hmm.
And Cole really doesn't give an answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're damn right. We started one way. We thought says, you're damn right, because we are going to finish what we started one way or another. And I think we should do that tonight. So Max, get out here so the four of us can take turns beating you up. So MJF shows up on the Tron. He's getting a massage. And he pretty much said, yes, Steve.
This whole thing is wildly fucking convoluted.
It is.
They're supposed to be the good guys.
Yeah.
There's 4 of them.
Yeah, that's correct.
They're standing in the ring, and they
are.
call him out to attack him 4-on-1?
Yeah.
What the fuck are they doing over there? What is that?
I don't know what
That's
it is.
weird.
It is strange. So then MJF interrupts his massage and pretty much says, hey, Cole, remember I told you last week you're not going to get your revenge? You're not, but I'll give you a chance to. So he says, between you, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, whoever wins 3 consecutive matches between now and Full Gear will face me, MJF, at that show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it's kind of like an awkward situation. Then after he says that, he goes back to his massage. And then Roderick, Cole, Bennett, and Taven are just in the ring, and they're all, well, we'll be friends now. They all hug. So later on the show, Buddy Matthews challenged Adam Cole to a match because he says Adam Cole is fragile.
Yeah.
Adam Cole will win that one.
That's going to be his first match. Yeah.
That's going to be win one.
Yeah.
Someone here in chat earlier before we started proposed a situation where Cole and Roderick both win 2 matches, come to find out their final matches against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Which, all right, there's some drama there.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, this is this isn't the first time that MJF has made someone earn a match against him.
Mm-hmm.
Did it with Cody, did it with Wardlow.
He mentioned it during the promo too. He's like, "Oh, jumping through MJF hoops." And by the way, I'm filming stuff, so I'm not going to be there till Full Gear.
Yeah, and it's not the first time there's been some convoluted method to lead to an MJF match.
Dude, I like this. Quite Outstanding says, "Do you think he meant against each other? What if they did like a round robin tournament amongst all the undisputed?
Hey, there you go.
Guys. No, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, that would work because they each have 3 matches against the other 3 members. There you go. Whoever goes 3-0.
What if nobody does?
No match.
No
MJF
match,
gets the day off for Full Gear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like me, I'm not going to be there for Full Gear. Neither will MJF.
Larson's like, no MJF match? I'm out of here. I'm not doing this shit.
Oh, man. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll probably be Adam Cole, but I think...
Probably, of course, it's going to be Adam Cole, yeah.
But I think in a certain respect, it might actually be advantageous to do Roddy because then it creates some tension between Roddy and Adam Cole.
I think that could be in the last. I love the idea of like the last match ends up being Cole versus Roderick Strong, and they're both 2-0. I think that's a great idea. And then Adam Cole wins that.
Everybody else is afraid to go after Adam Cole's ankle, not Roderick.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's trying to give like an end of heartache on the ankle.
Yeah, exactly. Backbreaker to the ankle.
Right, exactly. And yeah. So like randomly, there's this Buddy Matthews thing. He's like they have like a House of Black match, and he's like, Adam Cole, I'm calling you out. And he says, and then later on they're backstage, and he's like, hey, there's Buddy Matthews. He's backstage. And there's like all sorts of guys with like their lights that are supposed to be out of frame.
And then Adam Cole's just bathed in blue light. while Buddy just has whatever incidental lights backstage.
Right. So he goes up to him and he's like, "What's your deal, buddy?" And Buddy says, "Oh, I got one reason why I'm going to face you, mate. Because you're fragile." And Adam Cole's like, "Okay." And so Buddy Matthews leaves. So, yeah, I guess, Buddy Matthews is stepping up. He sees somebody who has a bum ankle, and he's like, "Oh, easy win for Buddy Matthews. BM wins the day."
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
He's gonna get the boom.
Maybe BM is not the greatest nickname you can come up with, buddy.
He's like, well, Buddy's already my nickname.
That's your passport name.
Doesn't say that here.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the Orange Cassidy stuff real quick, because there's some stuff on the show that happened.
Yeah, there's some actual story beats I realize we missed.
Yeah. So the show opened with another one of these video packages about Mox World Order, and there's new promo material from the desert. Talks about how a caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly automatically. Caterpillar has to eat itself. Compelled by instinct, nature cannibalizes itself. Imagine what could become of AEW if we all have that instinct. Says on AEW Dynamite tonight, just a little piece of stone will be destroyed forever, but it's for their own good and the greater good, always for the greater good. So we cut to that too. You got Garcia, the conglomeration, private party, Dark Order, Top Flight.
It's the fucking biggest pile of lumps besides Garcia.
Excuse me, Jeff Jarrett was out there.
Oh, that was actually funny. He was for a second, but Karen was like, she was given the what for to the empty road. And he was like, "Karen, you need to get to the back. We got to get out of here." So he actually escorts. He's like, "You know what? The last outlaw lives to fight another day, because I'm not messing with this Mox guy." So they leave. They take the smart route.
Anyways, they're all there.
Otherwise,
the
a bunch
arrival
of losers.
Blackpool Combat Club in their truck.
Like, I'm sorry, but when your middle guy is John Silver.
No, I get it. I understand. So then about halfway through the show, back to the parking lot, they're all waiting. Chuck Taylor, who's a producer now, comes out and tells Mark Briscoe, "Hey, your match is next." So he leaves. So he says to Orange Cassidy, he says, "Hey, we've known each other for about 20 years. We used to be roommates because we couldn't afford to live on our own. Then AEW happened. I know you see what's going on. You see what they're doing." He says, "God bless these guys, but I don't know if they can beat him," talking about Mox. "But you have. It's about time you step up, man." He says, "Come on, Mark needs you." So they walk off. And so now night has fallen.
Should have mic'd this better. It's a stupid small quibble, but you're standing out there. It's like they got the camera mic on or something, and not like a proper boom. And he's like, "Hey, you know what? You beat Mox before. You got to step up." All the acting, all the bad acting stuff really comes if you're not allowed to speak in your normal voice. You just come off like you're, community theater.
Yeah, no, you're trying to reach the back row, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So night's fallen. Car pulls up to the arena. It's patriarchy. So they walk by everybody with Christian's. He's got the contract saying, "I'm future AEW champ." Then he sees Kip Sabian skulking nearby, and so they all chase off after him. More on that later. So in the main event, we had Private Party and Daniel Garcia taking on the Young Bucks and Jack Perry. Fun bout. Private Party get the win, where they do this transition from a silly string into a roll-up. So this is the third time they've beaten the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
So then Isaiah Cassidy gets on the mic, says, "We proved we can beat you. We want another shot at the AEW titles. I got an offer you can't turn down. If we lose, we break up."
Mm-hmm.
And the Elite seem cool with that. So in the parking lot, finally the Blackpool Combat Club, the Mox World Order truck arrives, but only Marina Shafir is in the truck. In the ring, Wheeler and Claudio lay out Private Party and Garcia with chairs. Mox then brings Chuck Taylor into the ring. Wheeler puts the chair around Chuck's ankle, thinking, all right, that's what we're going to do. And Claudio's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Takes it off the ankle, wraps it around Chuck's neck. And right before he's about to stomp on it, Wheeler takes a step forward like he wants to stop him, but he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, Claudio stomps in the chair. Orange Cassidy runs the ring to check on Chuck, followed by everybody else in the parking lot. So Mox World Order leaves. Doctor slides in the ring to check on Chuck, and Orange is just seething. Something within him has been broken.
Yeah, they did a decent bit. I don't know, maybe this is supposed to be on the overrun, but there's like a digital exclusive out there of what happened afterwards, and Orange is yelling at Garcia saying, "This is your fault. Like, you shouldn't, like, this is what I told you this was going to happen, and this is what happened, and now I got to fix it." And he says something like, good. "Wednesday on Dynamite." So
yeah. And the Elite the whole time is just on the stage watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So still, I mean, not the most concrete of like, oh, interesting, like wild story beat that this week. And I kind of feel like, dude, do you think like Wednesday is a thing that your fans are going to watch? Wednesday is a thing that everybody pays attention to. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Don't you got to give us big story beats every Wednesday.
Yeah, they got to try. There's got to be a huge story beat and or significant character development. And we got that with Orange last night, at least the start of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the first time we've seen kind of something wake up within Orange.
Mm-hmm. It's been
we've seen it intermittently, especially when he was, towards the tail end of his international championship reign, his first one, and when he got it back, where he's so desperate to hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully this will be another layer to the Orange Cassidy character.
Yeah.
So let's talk MVP Shelton Benjamin. Shelton had a heck of a match against Sammy Guevara last night. First match of the show, I believe. Or was it the first match of the show? I don't remember. Gosh, there's so much. I watched this last night, half of NXT this morning. It all kind of blends together.
Yeah, it was the opening match.
It was the first match. So it was preceded by a video package talking about Sammy growing up a fan of Shelton Benjamin. Shelton and MVP kind of laying out their mission statement about what they're aiming to accomplish in AEW. Not surprisingly, Shelton gets the win after throwing Sammy all over the ring.
Yeah, I love how at least they understand. Shelton Benjamin's a big dude. He's a WWE sized guy. So he should be basically like, kind of the Brock of the company at this point, just suplexing the shit out of people, manhandling, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened here. So he gets the win. Later on, after a recap of Takeshita's match in Maple Leaf Pro, he had two of them over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
His title defense against Josh Alexander, Ricochet did a run-in. So we have an interview with him. He says, Takeshita, you cost me the international title twice, so I'm calling you or anyone else out. I'm in a bad mood. Please show up on Friday and come find out why I'm out of this world. So then MVP and Shelton step up. And MVP says, Ricochet says, just remember, payback's a bitch. MVP says, yes, it is, but that's not why I'm here. I know we have a tumultuous history, but I just want to say, new company, new chapter, new beginnings. Let's start off fresh. So he hands Ricochet his card. He says, also, very nice suit. And it was a nice suit.
It was a very nice suit.
So he and Shelton leave, and Ricochet's looking at MVP's card, business card.
Should he accept the offer? Who should accept his offer, Larson? So far, he's given it to Max Caster. He's given it to Leo Rush. He's given it to Mercedes Moné.
And
he's
Ricochet.
given it to Ricochet, Trevor Mann.
I mean, if MVP was like, hey, I want you to join my faction, I'd be like, I'm in.
Well, yeah, but that's a big if he'd ask you, though.
There's no, why would, I'm not a wrestler. Why would he ask me?
Right, yeah. So, of course, yeah, so that's, but if you're Trevor Ricochet Man, do you say
yeah? Or Trevor Ricochet Man said no last time. Look how that worked out for him. He should definitely say yes this time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right.
For the WWE, that's what MVP was referring to here.
But this is a new company.
I understand that.
Okay.
New beginning, Steve. New chapter.
Leo Rush. His history with Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley just said in an interview that he loves Leo Rush. He was upset that Shelton had a match against him. Yes, Lashley will advocate. He will tell Leo Rush, join Hurt Syndicate.
Leo Rush should be like last time. I was just out there. You asked me to just say your name a lot.
New chapter, new company, fresh start.
Okay. All right. And you're not going to be like bending over and just showing your butt to the crowd like you did last time.
Great as that was when Lashley was doing that. No, it's not going to happen again.
Yeah. And then Mercedes. Of course, no. The answer is no. She's the CEO. She's already like the CEO of a company. She can't leave her own company to
Merger.
be with. No, then you're less than. Right now, she's the CEO.
Well, I mean, the better case to be made is like she's double champ now. She's already achieved a great level of success. So the question is, MVP, at this juncture, what can you do for me?
Right, exactly. And all he has is a little busted business card.
Nothing much than what you already got, then yes, that you say no.
She needs to be giving him her business card and being like, maybe you can come join CEO Enterprises, which I'm the CEO of CEO Enterprises. Moné. So I'm going to say no for Mercedes. Yes, Leo. Yes, Trevor Ricochet Man.
What about Max Caster?
Boy, oh boy, if anybody needs the PR services of Hurt Syndicate, it would be him.
Yeah.
So I think that he would jump at that opportunity. Kind of like, I wonder if MVP was like, dang it, I meant to give that card to Bowens. And Caster just sort of swooped it.
Could be.
That's probably the case. If MVP, you want Bowens.
Yeah.
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 All right, let's talk about Taz's attacker. Reveal yourself. So, mentioned earlier, the patriarchy was chasing Kip Sabian out of the parking lot. Well, they end up in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hook is on the Tron. He's walking towards the ring from backstage, and Renee walks up to him. It's like, what'd you see on the security footage you talked about last time? And he says, the scumbag who attacked my dad's in the ring right now. I'm going to whoop his ass. So he gets to the ring, lays out Nick Wayne. We got this brawl thing. And eventually, Kip helps out Christian by low-blowing Hook.
Mm-hmm.
And then Christian goes over to Kip and says, look at me. I know why you took my pen. You tried to interfere last week. We'll deal with that later. Get in that corner right now. So Kip complies. So Nick's looking for Wayne's World. Hook catches him, but then Christian blasts Hook in the back with the thing that holds the contract. So Nick does, in fact, hit Wayne's World. Patriarchy's about to leave, but then Christian's like, come on, Kip, come with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hits a kill switch on Hook on the contract holder thing and tells Hook, this isn't what it seems. Another mystery angle here.
This isn't what it seems.
Is Christian going to cash in his contract and revive the FTW championship?
Good Lord. I would probably quit wrestling. I would quit the wrestling podcasting business if that was the case. That'd be terrible.
Be a bad idea.
I wouldn't actually do that.
No, that's how we make money.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad. That'd be pretty awful. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. He's probably going to be asking Hook. I thought Hook was going to get involved with this Mox World Order stuff, but I guess he's got his own side quest first. Here's my thing. There is the potential. There's the potential for some interesting stuff. Encompassing the Christian stuff because he's got the contract, encompassing Hook because he's like a young whatever wrestler, mid-card guy. The Elite. How they're going to wrap all this stuff up is going to be a tall task.
It is.
If they pull it off, I mean, that's a lot of math right there, man. I'm just saying that's a lot of whiteboard right there.
There is. And if they pull it off, then hats off to them. If not, then this whole thing could not exactly blow up in their face, but it could set back the possibilities of what could be accomplished with the storyline if they don't try to incorporate, I agree, more people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this Bang Bang Gang Hangman feud. So the show opens with Shivani interviewing Hangman. He's talking trash about Bang Bang Gang, about how he lays everybody out. Says that Austin, he knocked him out so bad he doubt he remembers his own brother's name, but then his brother Colton comes and jumps Hangman. They end up brawling. Hangman sends Colton into the timekeeper area and then puts him back in the ring and starts choking him with his belt when Jay White's music hits. So he and Juice Robinson surround the ring. Jay gets in there, takes down Paige, hits a few punches, but Paige rolls out of the ring. So then Jay grabs the mic, says, I always have your number. You can try to cover up your shortcomings with all the blood, barbed wire, and fire, but it's not going to change the fact that when the bell rings, you'll never measure up to the Switchblade. So you haven't seen the last of me or I the last of you. So go ice that leg, because Hangman was limping this whole entire segment. And we'll see each other soon.
Yeah. Boy, Jay White really needs to, when he gets rolling on that talking, man, he has a hard time. That dude wraps it up like 5 times per promo.
He does, because then he has 2 words for you.
Yeah, guts up. But then he talks more. So yeah, I mean, that'll be a good one. Hangman will get. Here's the problem with that though, is that like Jay White's like, oh, I've got 401 for you. I've won 4 and you've won 1. And Hangman's like, well, shit. Now, does he have to beat him like what 4 more times now?
Yeah, then he'll have the upper hand.
He's got to beat him 4 times in a row.
Hangman's like, gosh, that's a tall task.
I assume just like one solid, one more victory and he'll be fine.
Oh, that's got to be a weighted win then. Is he going to take on the entirety of the Bang Bang Gang and beat them all?
Would that count? That would count,
wins?
Right? Yeah, that'd count. That'd count.
Yeah, it would count as 4 wins. He took on the Guns, Juice, and Jay White and beat them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Tied up then.
Tied up.
Yeah, you referenced someone cutting their hair. That was Kyle Fletcher. He shed his.
Oh, you just skipped over the women's stuff?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, Larson.
I apologize. I mean, there's not a lot here, unfortunately. Which, is not a slight at Mariah May or Anna Jay. It's a slight at creative because
They just didn't do anything. Yeah.
they just didn't do anything. So Renee's waiting. I did like this first bit though. So Renee's waiting outside May's locker room for an interview, and she leaves the locker room with some luggage. And Renee's like, "Oh, you got your suitcase? You're leaving?" And she says, "No, this isn't mine," and proceeds to chuck that suitcase halfway down the hallway. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff comes spilling out of it. And then so May says, Anna doesn't belong in the ring with me. She doesn't belong in the locker room with me. Anna Jay runs in, attacks Mariah May, and Christopher Daniels just is there automatically already to break it up.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all we got last night for the AEW Women's Championship feud.
Yeah, there's a little bit more for the TBS title. We'll get to that here in just a second. Quick reminder, though, guys. We've got how many people watching right now? Oh, nice. 420 watching right now.
Hi, everybody.
Do us a solid. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notify bell. You know what to do. Hit all that stuff if you like what we're talking about here. And then also we got the Friendo Club set up. You like bonus episodes? We got a ton of those. We got the Big Blue Predictions Challenge every single pay-per-view premium live event. We have a predictions challenge associated with it. It's a lot of fun. Usually we've got between 200 and 300 friendos participating. And you can win this fancy Big Blue Predictions hat right here. And the way to participate is getting the Friendo Club set up. Either get a channel membership right here at youtube.com/Stephen Larson by clicking join. It's $5 a month. Or go to patreon.com/Stephen Larson and click on the Friendo Club setup there. Again, it's $5 a month. Get the same thing. It's bonus episodes. You also get access to our question threads that we're going to read here at the end of the episode. Kyle Fletcher.
Scrum portion of the show.
The media scrum of the show. Kyle Fletcher. I like this. I thought it was long. Didn't need to be this long. But I thought that he gave as good a motivation, I guess, as we're going to get.
Yeah.
A lot of people compared me to you, but I'm better than you. I'm not you. And
I
here to
want to
prove
get
it.
out of your shadow, and I'm a shed any influence you may have over me, including this haircut, so I'm going to cut all my hair off.
He's like, I found out the other day I got lice, so I'm going to do 2 birds with 1 stone. Shave it all off right here in the ring. We're going to burn my hair. I think he looks probably a lot cooler with the shaved head.
I wonder if he and Mox buy their jackets from the same place.
Yeah, places that sell 2X, 3XL jackets, probably. Yeah. That could be.
But yeah, this was a good promo. Even when the crowd was chanting like "shut the fuck up," he didn't get rattled at all. He's got quite a bit of confidence on the mic, especially for someone who's relatively new to the business. He comports himself on the microphone very, very well. And the matches with Ospreay will be outstanding because the one match they had when Will first came to AEW was really, really good.
Yeah.
Now they got a personal beef involved.
Fletcher's fucking awesome. And he's like WWE size and shit. And now they're actually like making him be his own dude and he's cutting these promos. No, I like Fletcher. I think he's good, man.
Yeah. He says he's going to turn Ospreay's neck into dust after hitting with a bunch of tiger drivers. He says, I will stand above you. And he says, but if I want to stand on this top of this company, I can be nothing like you. And that's when Callis hands him the clippers and he starts cutting his hair. And he starts screaming. So he says, from this day forward, Will, I'm nothing like you. And screams, I'm nothing like you, while he's shaving his head.
Yeah. He's like,
he only does like a quarter
die.
of it. He only does like a quarter of it there in the ring.
Yeah, he should have kept it that way.
Yeah.
Kitty here in chat says, but his hair is beautiful. Why? He can just grow it back.
The thing about hair.
It comes back. Yeah, exactly.
Well, once you get past a certain age, if you're a dude, sometimes it doesn't come back.
Wow, listen, Heather is our hair expert here, and I love to see it. She says his bleach job was bad. Front was white, sides were yellow, over-processed.
I noticed that too. Maybe he went and got a bad bleach job done. It's like, oh gosh, this looks terrible. What can I do?
Be,
it's like, well, how about this? Cut your hair. There we go, because hair will grow back.
Right? Yeah, he looked like a bad guy.
Yeah.
No, I thought he did a good job though. Just got to tighten him up a little bit, and you're good to go.
I thought he did too. Let's talk the TBS title scene. So most immediately, we're getting Statlander versus Camille. Once Statlander beats Camille, she'll face Mercedes probably at Full Gear.
Yeah.
But first, next week, Statlander Camille. We had a video package for that. And then Camille faced Queen Aminata in a really fun match. Queen Aminata's so good.
She earned her paycheck last night, man. Because boy, oh boy, she earned her paycheck last night. She really did. She did everything. She did everything she could in that ring, man. Hats off to Queen Aminata.
Yep, she's great.
I'll tell you what.
Camille, though, gets the win with like a reverse spinning DDT type deal. Statlander's music hits. She comes to the ring, stares down Camille. Mercedes gets between them. They get some Statlander's face, starts talking shit. Blasts her from behind. Stat no sells, lays into Camille. Knocks Monet out of the ring. But then Mercedes grabs Statlander's ankle and allows Camille to hit her with the finish. And then Monet gets in there, stands above Statlander, holding up the TBS title.
Yeah.
We had three women's stories were featured last night.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
We only had the one match, I think, but at least three stories were featured. We had Mariah and Anna. We had TBS title stuff. And then later on, we'll talk about Penelope Ford and your feud with Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
But first, well, heck, let's just talk about that now. We can get to Brian Cage and Lance Archer later on.
like usually it's like all the little tiny bits you just, throw in at the end here. Yeah.
So Penelope Ford had a video package explaining why she attacked Jamie Hayter. It's pretty much because she thinks Jamie Hayter was handed everything to her in AEW. So then Jamie has an interview and pretty much says, no, that's BS. Listed off a variety of reasons why she wasn't handed everything. Talks about sleeping on floors, not having any money in her bank account, wrestling in community centers in front of 20 drunk dudes for 20 quid. Says don't talk. It says do all that, and then you can talk to me about not working hard at this. And then challenges her to a match 2 weeks from last night. Hey, also AEW had a whole video package hyping up shows they're having in the future. That's not something they normally do, and they're booking matches weeks in advance and announcing them on television.
Yeah, man. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah,
it's actual promoting there.
Yeah, promoting. Yeah, there you go. That's a good thing. Yeah, I like when feuds are like, yeah, being an independent wrestler sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty lame.
And so they could just have a whole feud of like, I used to eat out of garbage cans. And,
well, I mean, that's what the Ethan Page Trick Williams story is now.
I know. Ethan Page, we'll get to that in a bit. Heather, you're going to have to close your ears for our Ethan Page segment on NXT, man. Heather's our number one Ethan Page fan.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Heather. I'll apologize in advance. So let's talk Brian Cage and Lance Archer. They made their debut as a tag team with members of the Don Callis family. They destroyed some poor local enhancement tag team to get the win. Powerbomb, choke slam combo. And then the last thing on the notes here is Chris Jericho winning the Ring of Honor title. We talked about that aplenty.
We did, yeah. No, I like those them big Brian Cage and Lance Archer, just killing those local enhancement talent dudes. I love that shit. I think.
But how is that going to translate to actual tag title program with whoever may be champions?
Who are the champions? Oh, Private Party's about to be champions. Yeah, just good opponents for Private Party to beat. That's what I mean. Brian Cage and Lance Archer kind of generally are, anyways.
Yep.
I fucking loved both those guys as wrestlers. Lance Archer, Eliminate, who doesn't love that guy? But they're credible threats.
They are
to dudes who beat them.
Yep. All right, let's talk NXT.
Oh man, it's whoa, hold on a sec. We really got to talk about presentation here, man.
I just said, all right, let's talk NXT.
You said it in such a down way. Come on, people are here to hear our thoughts about NXT wall-to-wall action in that performance center.
Sometimes subtext says a lot, Steve.
So does body language and inflection.
Exactly, that's my point.
Right. You just said a lot with yours.
Yeah, I know exactly what I said.
Nah, man. No, I gotta pump. I gotta pump the people up, man. It's like, oh, now we're honored and privileged to talk about NXT this week.
Why do you want to lie to people? So here they come. Here are the comments. Oh, you guys don't seem to enjoy NXT.
Man,
Why don't you stop
you're
reviewing
egging them on, man. I want peace and love. That's all I want, dude. I don't want violence today.
All right, let's talk the good first. So Julia, Stephanie.
Where is that? Oh yeah. Oh, Julia and Stephanie. All right, man. I'll keep it real, Larson. Since you're keeping it real, I'll keep it real.
I'm always keeping it real.
And it's a good reel. Stephanie Becker and Julia are absolutely 1,000% what I would love to see the future of NXT be. Problem is, they're the only two people in the company in NXT's banner where that's how I feel. You know, it's like, look, man, I think once, and I even think we're about to dog Ethan Page. Once Ethan Page hits main roster, I think that dude's gonna fit in. I think he'll be fine.
He'll fit in as mid-carder as Wish.com is. Yes.
You know, I'll be honest, I actually do see more in him than I see in Miz. I can't Miz just even when he's doing good work, I think about him like I'm just got that Pavlovian thing where I'm like I'm so over it.
Well, that's years of built up. I don't want to see on my TV.
17 years of
going on.
Yeah.
Whatever few highlights he had over the course of his career doesn't overcome 17 years of I don't want to see this person on my TV. Yes.
Heather has a quick question here, and I think I know the answer, but I'm kind of curious what you have to say. She says, here's what I don't get. Why was Delta rebranded but not Stephanie and Julia? My guess on that, somebody mentions a trademark thing, and that's a possibility.
Could be.
I knew who Stephanie and Julia were prior to them being in NXT. I'm not saying they're doing it because of me, but I kind of feel like general perception was higher for Julia and Stephanie than it was.
It's establishing brands. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like Julia really established a brand before coming to NXT.
I would think. Oh, absolutely. I would think.
I think
Stephanie Becker literally changed the rules at AEW.
Yeah.
Do you hear? But so we never talked about that. So apparently there's an agreement now when New Japan and AEW puts on co-promoted shows where the wrestlers who are going to be featured on those shows can't use those as an immediate springboard to WWE the way
I kind of saw it more as, all right, let's make an agreement that we're only going to use talent that are either signed to New Japan or AEW on these shows, or just Stardom, whatever. People that are under contract with their respective companies. That's kind of more how I took it.
Right, yeah, because of Stephanie Becker.
Yeah, because she was under CMLL contractor. But then she just up and left, so.
Right, yeah, she took off, yeah. So I don't know. That was kind of funny because she's amazing. Her and Julia are absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
they're great.
Superstar presence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And fantastic wrestlers. Yeah.
There are people in NXT, and again, it comes down to like who's a draw for me, in NXT, and they are Julia and Stephanie. I will stop and watch their fucking matches.
Mm-hmm.
I will. Jada Parker. I don't know what it. I think that she just has a charisma and like something genuine about her. I'm like, Sol Luke is another one.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talent in NXT that has the potential to have the superstar presence that Stephanie and Julia do. I think there's a lot. I think Oba Femi's there. I think there's a lot of people who have the possibility to be huge stars. I don't think they're regularly helped by NXT's approach to booking, though.
I agree with that.
So many of the feuds, we talked about this on another thing. I think it was the hot takes about. I said one of the issues I have with NXT is there's an overall lack of drama in their stories, especially like anything approaching high drama.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
most of their stories are completely bereft of drama.
Yeah,
and a lot of the storylines are fairly superficial in that. This is perhaps the most egregious example where Lexis King and Eddie Thorpe are feuding over because they like different kinds of music.
Mm-hmm.
I understand there needs to be some comedic element to your show, or your show could benefit from having some measure of a comedic element. But I just feel like NXT overall would benefit from a creative standpoint by having a bit more depth to their stories, because what am I going to invest in? Like there's three aspects of wrestling that I watch it for. I watch it for the matches, the characters, and the stories. Mm-hmm. NXT, the one thing they deliver is the characters. There's good matches from time to time, and sometimes they do stories where I'll maybe get a chuckle out of it. But if you really want me to be a fan of your product, you have to, at least on a somewhat consistent basis, give me all three.
Man, dude, I don't even know about the character aspect of things. Like, I 1,000% agree with the story, because here's the thing. They matter to each other.
They do. It's all interrelated. Absolutely.
It is. If you told a killer story with pretty much anybody, it'd be like, oh, that elevates that person.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Here's the thing also about Stephanie Vaquer and Julia. There is something to be said, and this goes back to the black and gold stuff. And this is why I think the black and gold stuff works so well. Because the independent scene back then, pre-AEW, was so incredibly just explosive with like talent that it got people excited. It's like, oh shit, they got Walter? That's fucking awesome. They got, back then, Matt Riddle? Holy shit. I want to see, I've seen what that guy can do on the independent circuit because the independent circuit was everything back then. I want to see, so it's like these guys who had already built their names for themselves.
Yeah.
And there's something, it's an intangible. There's something about coming from another place, having massive amounts of success and bringing it into NXT. Because of the 2.0 rebrand, so many of these things, like, dude, I'm sorry. If I see Tony D'Angelo on main roster do some cool shit, then maybe I'll be into it. I can't give two shits about that guy. I really can't. I try, dude. I try. I really can't. And Oba Femi, I'm sorry, but he's being dragged way down by this Tony D stuff. And I know I'm going to offend some Tony D fans here in the chat. I'm sorry about that. Inexplicably, people are into that shit. But I just can't get it. Lexis King all of a sudden wanted to be a good guy. Doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. None.
I'm hoping he wins that Heritage Cup, though, because that's what I predicted was going to happen by the end.
I hope he does, too, and I hope he becomes a bad guy again, or whatever he was.
Oh, this is all just a subterfuge.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's just faking it, right?
Yeah.
So there's just so much going on, and not a lot of it really kind of matters, because they like the stories just kind of aren't there. You know?
I know.
But like when you bring in like awesome fucking names like Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, it's like, oh shit. Now you guys have something. It's kind of just the same thing as the black and gold was. Mm-hmm. They were bringing in fucking name after name. Finn Balor, Kenta, Asuka, all these fucking cool names. Yeah, people was like, oh my God, you know? So there's something to be said about, it's one thing to be building people up from the ground. And the old school NXT, they did that to a degree. There was the Bianca Belairs, there was the Rhea Ripleys.
Yeah.
But so much of the success there was because they were bringing in names that you wanted to see in NXT under the WWE thing. So I don't know. That's this week's explanation for why NXT doesn't do it for me. Tune in next week for a different explanation.
Well, I think this all tied kind of to the same thing. Is even in the black and gold era, even if the creative wasn't necessarily the most varied and interesting, you were getting good matches.
Yeah,
and you were getting characters who you wanted to see on your TV.
Oh, dude, look, I agree. I always agree with you. At its worst, it was just, oh, who's this badass of the week kind of thing. Yeah. But at its best, you had, Aleister Black, the Undisputed Era, Gargano and Ciampa doing their thing, which was an awesome story.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Even, dude, you remember how, and this it boggles my mind, this guy dropped the bag, but Velveteen Dream, that guy was so fucking exciting. He would show up with like those super creative, like airbrush tights with like controversial shit on him. Man, that shit was really cool.
Yeah. Bob Roode in NXT was great. Like, there were so many people they brought in that when they could figure out characters for them were interesting, and you knew they were going to put on good matches.
Yeah.
That for me, that's like the formula for an entertaining wrestling shows. Give me good characters, interesting stories, and great matches, and I'm in.
It was just walking dream matches. It's like, oh my God, they're bringing in, hell, even like Cassius Ohno. It's like, oh shit, we get to see Chris Hero against all these different people, and they would deliver too. Yeah. Like they would do that.
Chris
shit.
Hero versus Bob Roode. Wow.
Humble actually kind of has it. She's, as a fan of watching NXT, it is like a full season of preseason football. Either you got it or you don't.
You know what? And I said this on the I think the Hot Takes episode 2 is maybe just from a creative standpoint. Shawn Michaels he just can't invest a lot of time and bandwidth into developing long-term stories for these characters because he doesn't know how long they're going to be there. Whether it's between getting called up or their 6-month evaluation periods.
I think it could be better from pay-per-view to pay-per-view, though.
You think it could be, yeah. At least for a 2-month cycle of stories, you can come up with something a little more.
They just have they have a really big roster there.
They do.
And like juggling all that probably isn't easy. So
It probably isn't. So I know a lot of people really like NXT, I think, for the reasons I described, because it is a light, breezy wrestling show. It moves.
It's not bogged down. You think it's not bogged down by like the baggage of of AEW, which like creative shifts on that show like week to week. Basically, main roster has its own issues where main roster will feature like, you know, one amazing story, and so much of like the tag division is non-existent basically, and the women's division gets a short shrift. NXT does a good job showcasing a lot of wrestlers, putting them on TV and allowing them to develop, which is I think the point of NXT.
The whole point of it, yeah.
And people like that, and that's great.
Yeah, that is. So let's talk more about Julia, Stephanie Vicaire. So they were in the main event. There's this really good video package earlier in the show that highlighted their respective journeys to WWE, the friendship they developed. I think after their match they had in Japan. And then shortly after that, we had a Delta video package, but she's got a new name now. Zaraya, I think.
Zaraya, is that what it was? Zaraya?
More on
Zaria. Is it Zaria or Zaraya?
So then there's this backstage segment where Fatal Influence is before their main event match against Julia and Stephanie are talking some trash about Kalani with Cora and Roxanne. Kalani walks in because she has a North American title defense at Halloween Havoc, but opponent unknown, just a member of Fatal Influence. She's like, who am I facing? And JC's like, you're going to have to wait till Sunday.
Who is it's going to be JC Jane, right? They're going to go through a whole
Fallon
thing
Henley.
where they go
Yeah,
through
I think it's
like...
going to be Fallon Henley.
You think it's going to be Fallon? She was, I think, standing in the middle when it showed the graphic. So maybe.
So then this was cool. So Stephanie and Julia are walking out towards the ring backstage before their match. Damage Control steps up to her.
Ooh!
Yes, please. Let's see
Kyrie
that
had her little thing out. Boy,
Yeah.
oh boy.
That was great.
Ooh!
So then main event, Fatal Influence takes on Julia, Stephanie. Julia and Stephanie get the win after Julia hits a running knee. Stephanie follows with that package backbreaker. She uses it as her finisher. They get the win. So then we have Roxanne and Cora. They're standing up on that kind of platform, elevated platform thing in the Performance Center. They're staring at Julia and Stephanie because they have that tag match at Halloween Havoc. Fatal Influence goes up the ramp and spins the wheel because there's a stipulation for the North American title match. But then the lights start going all weird, and Delta. Apparently, this was cut from some markets. They didn't get to see it, but I don't know how much was there versus what I saw. But it was pretty cool where she is standing on the stage, and like the lights are so intense that you just see like her face paint essentially.
Yeah,
it was
cool.
pretty great.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what she does there. Again, I think I texted this to you. I think I texted this to you. Give it about a year, NXT might be back to where I'm like, oh well, fuck, you know.
It could be.
But it's also like it's such a different landscape in pro wrestling these days. Like
It
I
is.
do hope that unless it's like a top name, if they are going to bring people over from AEW, then bring them in through NXT. Like I'm kind of bummed out that the Motor City Machine Guns didn't. I know here's the thing, they're old. They need to be probably a main roster now. I get that.
I mean, I think just financially, it makes more sense for them to agree to a main roster contract as opposed to an NXT contract.
But like if Will Hobbs decides to jump ship, you know, bring him over to NXT. I don't know. Main roster seems cool for him too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
You mentioned former AEW talent. Let's talk Ethan Page. So there was this long face-to-face he had.
Almost
with
as
Trick.
long as damn career. I cracked up when he said, I've been doing this for 17 years. And you look at the look on Trick's face. He's like, I've been doing this for like 3.
Well, that's what he says too.
And we're in the same. He said that the funniest thing, I love Trick's delivery. So Ethan Page goes on this long thing. He's like, hey, man, have you ever bled so much and you got blood and sweat in your eyes and you can't see? Have you ever had a match? And he's gone through all this shit he's been through these 17 years. Roman Reigns debuted 12 years ago, by the way. And, 14 years ago. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Ethan Page had a 3-year head start. So Ethan Page, like, have you ever had... I'd be like, man, if I've been doing this for 17 years and I'm still just in NXT, I probably would like kayfabe the number. I'd be like, I've been doing this for 8 years.
7 years. Like
7
seriously.
years. The first 10 didn't count. And he's like, yeah, have you ever had flesh torn from bone? And, you know, do this. And Trick said, yeah, next week, I'm going to whoop your ass again. You're
You're used to it. You're used to being
'Cause you're
busted up.
used-
So I'm going to bust your ass again.
He just completely disregarded 17
Well, here's the
years
thing:
of a
is like
career.
Ethan Page said something like, "Oh, you never faced anybody who can be as crazy and violent as me." And Trick's like, "I faced Mello, I faced Ilya,
Yeah, he
and
faced Ilya.
Pete Dunne."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I faced a bunch of people
Yeah.
that are going to get wilder and crazier in the ring than you are, Ethan Page.
Heather says Ethan's been on the independent since he was 17. He's only 34. Don't disrespect all ego.
I just can't get into whatever Ethan Page is doing right now in NXT. Just does not work for me.
When people I'm sorry, but when people are tasked with speaking 10 solid minutes on the mic, that ain't easy for anybody.
It's not very many. Even some of the best people on the mic have a hard time doing 10
Even
minutes.
Phil can't kill that every time.
No.
Even CM Punk can't do that.
No.
Like on a regular basis.
No.
I mean, man, yeah, that was just a lot of talking. It was a lot of talking, and
I didn't really feel like
compelling.
it advanced what they wanted to advance story-wise for the match. Because Ethan Page's whole thing is, oh, no one's gotten. You're not going to face anybody get in the ring that can get as crazy as me. I'm like, there's probably 4 people in NXT for sure. I know will get crazier than you, Ethan Page, for sure.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen Oba Femi do some crazy shit in the ring.
Yeah, and he's been wrestling for like what, a couple weeks?
Yeah,
not 17 years.
Just like his whole premise, his whole thesis for the whole thing, I wasn't buying it, and it didn't really seem like he was buying it either. And that's kind of like my thing with Ethan Page in NXT is I feel like so much of what he says in his promos, like even he as a performer doesn't necessarily buy into. And so like he delivers these lines, and it feels like there's not a whole lot of confidence behind them.
Well, because he has to talk, dude. He's got to fill 10 minutes. I honestly
feel 2 minutes.
Oh, dude, no, they should have approached this a way different way. Show, don't tell.
I agree.
This kind of stuff, like show, don't tell. You know, I don't know if that means, hey, he asks Ava for like a match with like Dante Chen to show how crazy he can get like a no DQ match, and he just or he accepts, or like he takes a match with like a Dante Chen, something like that, a guy who could eat a loss or whatever. And he accepts like a DQ loss in the service of getting super crazy with him. This is what I can do. This is what I'm going to do to you.
That's a more effective way of going about it than having him talk for 10 minutes about how crazy he can get in the ring when it's legitimately, at least in NXT, something we've never seen.
Cheese Man says Wesley is standing right there, Ethan. Did you see that match last month? That was crazy.
Yeah, there's probably 10 people in NXT that I'd be like, oh, they'll do crazier shit than Ethan Page will ever think of.
FSI says
Maybe
only like 5 people in NXT feel like they buy what they're saying, and somehow Lexis King is one of them.
He does come across, his face turn makes no sense, but he comes across as one of the most earnest and genuine characters in NXT right now, and I can't believe I'm saying it. Everything he says feels very heartfelt.
It does. Yeah, it does.
He's one of the few people that I'm like, all right, he seems like he believes what he's saying.
And look, John Lawson here in chat says, I feel like this match is going to be surprisingly violent. I think it's going to be a good match. I really do. I think it's going to be a really good match. Ethan Page is a good wrestler.
Yeah,
he's been doing it for 17 years. He's fucking better with me.
You at least think he'd be all right. Just nothing I've seen, and I don't want this to be seen as a slight, because yes, I know Ethan Page is a talented dude. I know he's a good wrestler. Just nothing about how he's been presented in NXT does anything for me.
I think he's meant to be on main roster, man. I do.
Don't know.
I think he's meant to be on main. I do. I think there's a difference. I think there's a vibe difference. I think dudes who have been doing this for 17 years probably shouldn't be in NXT.
I don't know.
Get that guy to
So
main.
let's talk Oba Femi. He said that he was when Tony defended the North American title against him in a table ladders and scares match, that he'd have to do it without his family. So he took out
family,
2 members of Tony D's family. Luca, he had a match against him, wrecked him. Stax wrecked him during the course of that match too. But then before all of that, someone laid out Rizzo backstage. A mystery is afoot.
Well, I think it's Nikita Lyons, right?
Oh, could be.
Yeah, I think because she's like, they had that interaction backstage. So I'm guessing it's her.
Where Oba handed her robe back.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, I mean, that's cool. He's gonna lose to Tony D though.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring this down, but yeah, he's gonna lose to Tony.
Having him lose the first time to Tony D was a mistake.
Yeah, I know.
Massive mistake.
Because I mean, there's plenty of stuff for him to. Maybe he's on the verge of a call up.
I know, but there's like 15 people in NXT that would benefit way more from beating Oba Femi than Tony D'Angelo.
Oh, Tony's benefited quite a bit. He's a North American champion right now.
Yeah, but I mean, is anybody like, yay, Tony D'Angelo? I mean, like the 5 Tony D'Angelo fans out there. I should say that. That's mean.
We got at least 5 in our chat.
All right.
Put your this up. The whatever. What is this? What is this? The thing. What is this called?
But imagine like someone like Javon Evans beating Oba Femi for that.
Oh my God, that would have been great.
That's what I'm talking about. There's people that could be elevated to a whole new level by beating Oba Femi. I don't feel like Tony D'Angelo was elevated to another level by beating Oba Femi. I just don't feel that way.
Yeah. No, I don't. Look, man, I don't disagree. I think Tony D. I don't know what to do with Tony D. I really don't. I guess people like him, but yeah, you know how I say like with Ethan Page, like, oh, just wait till main roster. I think he'll fit in. He sort of has SmackDown vibe. He's got U.S. champion vibe. He does. Come on.
Oh man,
you don't think so?
No.
Wow.
Not how he's presented now. No, I don't.
Yeah, I kind of see that.
No, he has right now as he's presented to me. He has a henchman in a faction vibe.
Wow. Not even speed champion vibe.
No.
Nope. Tony D has like, I don't know what vibe that is. Tony D's got like, NXT UK excursion vibe for me.
Hey, we used to get excited when people from NXT would go to NXT UK.
Oh, it was the best noon show
because
on
they'd always
Fridays.
go party with Callis.
They go party with, exactly.
So we mentioned the bit with Nikita. She's talking with Tyson Tyreek backstage. Oba Femi walks up and hands her robe. Yeah, Oba Femi beat Luca, just wrecked him.
Yeah.
Powerbomb Luca through a ladder that he set up between the apron and the announce desk, put Stacks through a table. So later in the show, Tony has an interview talking about everybody being laid out. And he says, Oba, I took what you loved, this title, now you've done the same to me. He says, I'm going to take every table, ladder, and chair and whoop your ass. He says, you want to be by myself, but be careful what you wish for, because this Sunday you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Oba should wipe the floor with him. Just absolutely. Like you watched that match with Briggs and Dijak and Oba. You watch that match. That match was spectacular.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And you watch that, and you're like, nobody should beat Oba Femi.
Yeah,
nobody.
Sure. Yeah, no, they were booking him to the moon. Yeah.
And then suddenly Tony D has the ingredients to win. Nah.
Dude, I don't disagree, man. I don't disagree. God, we're gonna get in trouble.
I don't care.
Getting in trouble, man. And here's the thing. This is the thing. Before anybody puts one in the fucking comments that says, if you guys don't like NXT, just don't review it. We sat through Monday Night Raw in 2019. If we didn't review shit that we didn't like, guess what? We wouldn't be reviewing Raw in 2019. It's good now.
Have different jobs in 2019.
We would have had different jobs. Exactly.
We weren't reviewing Raw. Like, what's our business model then?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Look, man, if you guys love NXT and you're sitting there like, man, these guys are crap. They're dog. It's cool. You don't have to watch.
Yeah,
the review.
don't watch our NXT review. It doesn't validate your opinion of the show.
Right. It's okay. We've been dealing with that forever. We used to do top 10 lists on Machinima, and people are like, this isn't. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to validate your feelings. We're here to review shit. A year from now, come back. If NXT is if they keep doing what I think they're trying to do, basically make it black and gold again, I'll probably love it.
So then Damage Control had their tag match against Lash Legend, Jakara Jackson.
Love all 4 of them.
Yeah.
They're great. Now I'm giving some love here.
Open the show, first match on the card. And this ends in a DQ because Piper and Chelsea come to the ring and lay everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps a triple threat tag match coming up shortly.
Yeah, no, this was good stuff, dude. I love them showcasing Lash's power. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much flipping fun. That assisted insane elbow when it's hit right, great. Not just landing on somebody straight up, is tons of fun. EO, dude, they're all great, dude. They're all
best.
Great.
One of the absolute
best. This is good stuff.
And then after that also, let's talk. I talk about that. But we have to. So Jada Parker and OTM both had matches. So earlier in the show, and it happened earlier in the day, Hank and Tank are out in the parking lot. Like they're on a bullhorn. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Hyping up the crowd as they're arriving. And then there's a NASCAR driver, Cole Custer, who's there.
Oh, I miss the enforcer. He'd be able to tell us all about this guy.
I don't even think he's on the main NASCAR.
Is he like on NASCAR's NXT?
I think so. I think that's what they said. He's one of the other divisions. So anyway, man. OTM and Jada step up, and it leads to OTM challenging Hank and Tank to a match. After that, Jada has a match against Tatum Paxley. So Tatum's looking for a roll up, but then Jada rolls through, hits a pair of hip attacks for the win. Then Lola Vice charges down the ramp, trying to get after Jada Parker, but Wrestler holding her back. And while that's happening, Wendy Chu pulls Tatum out of the ring and puts her in a road case and wheels it away.
Yeah.
And so then the tag match, Hank and Tank with Cole Custer, takes on OTM, and Cole Custer helps Hank and Tank get the win, tripping up Bronco Nima, so that Hank and Tank could hit their finisher.
Yeah. Hank and Tank, man. Let's talk about...
Why isn't Callis on TV?
Hey, yeah, wow. Don't know. Where is Callis? Don't know.
The next tier I have has Ashante found a love connection.
Horny Ashante. This is like my favorite story going on right now.
So
Adonistly, Larson. I love this story.
Oh, you do, huh? So we got Carmen, Sol Ruca. Brindley, they're working out in the PC gym earlier in the day. And so Brindley tells Carmen, hey, says, Ashante should get the hint. Not interested.
Yeah.
But Carmen, you did pick up the rose petals last week.
Yeah.
What's that all about? Well, Ashante walks in. He's like, hey, I saw that you and I, Carmen, we shared a look.
Yeah.
And Carmen tries to be like, nah, you cost me a match, so I thought I'd return the favor. So Ashante eventually leaves. And then Sol's like, you're trying to tell me that you're not into him? And you tell me there's nothing going on. And then Carmen just like snaps back at her. And then leaves. So later on we have a match, Sol Ruca versus Carmen Petrovic. And then Ashante sitting up in the audience talking to another woman.
Yeah, man.
Next to her. And they eventually get up and leave together.
Man.
And this distracts Carmen, allowing Sol Ruca to hit a soul snatcher to get the win.
This dude is treating NXT like his own personal playground, man. And I love to see it. I just hope he's wrapping it up. You know what I mean?
Be safe.
I know this name of the show is going in Raw. Doesn't mean I advocate for it, though. It's a sexual innuendo. We didn't even choose the name of the show. It's chosen for us.
Maybe you didn't think we'd be doing this for a living. This thought just be like a fun pastime.
I'd have stopped at that point. I've been like, Dan, no, can't name it that. This is going to be literally how I feed my children, But if Ashante doesn't wrap it up, he's going to have a bunch of kids to feed too, man. You don't want that.
Speaking of children of wrestlers, Lexis King.
Oh, good. Excellent segue.
Thank you. So he walks up No Quarter Catch Crew backstage. Thanks, Charlie, again for the idea about the gentleman's duel match. But he's like, people are still doubting that I'm changed. He says, you and I have a lot of common, second generation wrestlers, so on and so forth. He says, I want people to stop looking at me like I'm a loose cannon. I feel like I'm more of a straight shooter.
Yeah.
I need to win.
The my career conundrum.
Yes. He says, I need to win the Heritage Cup so I can win respect. And Dempsey's like, how will winning that change anything? And Lexus says, oh, I think it will. So Dempsey's like, fine, I'll give you the match. He tells Miles, hey, go make it official with Ava. And then Ren says to Lexus, you need someone in your corner for the match. And Lexus is like, oh, nobody likes me. All right. So he leaves, and he's on the search for a corner man. Eventually winds up in Ava's office, like, I can't find anybody. Everybody I've asked says, no one trusts me. Can you appoint somebody to be in my corner? And Ava's like, no. So either... what Lexus should do is go to Eddie Thorpe and say, I think you're spectacularly talented.
Yeah.
I love your music.
Yeah.
I've been listening to it nonstop. Here, I made you a mixtape of all my favorite Guns N' Roses and Nirvana. Just think of all the T-shirts he's worn.
Yeah, those two.
So on, it's all the rock music that I adore. Hey, let's be friends.
Yeah, and the generic rock track that was playing when I was playing my music at the backstage party.
Yes.
a couple months ago. Yeah,
Yes.
that track too. I feel like he should probably take a more honest approach. Be like, listen, Eddie, I appreciate that we are both lovers of music. And even though I think yours is dog shit, I appreciate that you do appreciate music. Will you corner me? And Eddie Thorpe be like, you sure? You know, I feel you got to be honest. Can't, because he was really dogging his music. So I think
He's turned over a new leaf, though, Lexis King has. And maybe part of that is
opening his mind to EDM.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, maybe. That could be. He was like, hey, you know what? I was with a lady the other night and I accidentally turned on some EDM and oh my gosh. It was like, you know, got me super engorged there, Eddie Thorpe.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, wait, that's too much info, buddy.
Too much info.
If you just stop talking, I'll corner you. Okay? How about that?
Yeah. Let's talk Javon Evans. He's getting to a program here with Fraxium. I guess Javon and Cedric would be. So they're all backstage talking. And Axiom and Frasier giving Javon props for his match last week. Says, you still have plenty of time to become champ.
Oh, shit. Hey, hold on a second. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but I'm going to. John Hosey says it's going to be Oro Mensa.
Oh, yeah. I thought that too,
corner
Oro
guy.
Mensa.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So they're telling Javon, you're young. You got plenty of time to become champion. Don't be too down on yourself for losing. Javon takes offense. He's like, what are you messing with me for? And Frasier's like, no, I'm not messing with you, but I got some advice. Deal with it, because I got a lot of it when I was your age. So you just got to deal with it, essentially. And so Javon slaps Nathan Frasier and walks off. So Wes Lee comes up to him and says, hey, you know, hate's going to come at you from all directions, first because of your age, then because you're too successful.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, Fraxium's in Ava's office, and Frasier is irate about getting slapped.
Yeah.
He wants a match. He says, I don't care if it's a singles match or a tag title match. And Ava's like, whoa, Axiom, you cool with this? And Frasier literally yells at Axiom, are we the best tag team in NXT or not? And Axiom's like, fine.
He's like, fine, we'll go do it. What do you want to do?
So Frasier makes the match. Or sorry, Ava makes the match.
Yeah. That'll be a good one, too.
It will be.
That'll be a good one.
And then
also,
finally here.
Yeah, finally here on the rundown. Andre Chase in a little pre-film segment addresses Ridge Holland and Ridge responds. He says, you know, Chase, you welcomed Ridge with open arms and, you know, people come for redemption. That's what you came here to NXT for. He says, and redemption was in your hands. He says, we won those tag titles, but we also lost them. And I found that the measure of a man isn't in victory, it's in defeat. This Saturday, I'm going to put an end to your misery in an ambulance match. And then Ridge is like, he's got a progressive match flow promo.
He says, hey, Andre Chase, how does it feel watching my creation, your creation being torn apart piece by piece until the only one standing is in front of you is Chase? Now I can finally be the most dangerous rattlesnake in NXT. This Sunday, Chase, you'll be destroyed for good, and Chase will be taking his last ride. Oh, hell yeah.
What?
That's 316 says so.
He didn't do the Stone Cold voice. It was very sad.
He didn't. It was a bummer.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny when he just busted that out one time backstage at the Performance Center.
It was Stone
head
Cold
wiggle
for
and
1
all.
week.
All right, you want to answer some questions?
It's time for that was our main event.
It was our main event.
Oh,
How many
boy,
stars would you give that main event, Steve?
Oh, us dogging NXT? The passion that we had for that? 5, easily. And that's on a 5 cap scale.
Oh, that's on the Larson scale.
That's on the Larson scale.
Can't get any better.
Nope.
B-Man here asks, which UFC personalities would have worked half decent in WWE? You mean just all time or current? Because I don't know anybody currently that's fighting really in UFC. I don't pay attention to it. But like Ken Shamrock, going back to the early days of the UFC, Shamrock, Severin.
Wait, we're saying what UFC personalities work great in WWE?
Would have. So past tense, I think.
Kale Sonnen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Who is that? Who is that big tall fella that looked kind of like Reese from WCW? Was it Tim Silva? He would wear the title at like the grocery store.
Oh, maybe.
I think that was Tim Silva.
So Dangam Hughes says Rampage Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know who wouldn't have? Tito Ortiz. Jeffrey Nguyen here with the super chat says, I love going in Raw. And then I think we had like a channel member, Tyler Race here, became a member as well. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you so much for that. Thanks for the super chat. Yeah, no, I think they would have. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Probably not Ronda Rousey.
Atomic Nerd here says, any favorite memories of Halloween Havoc? Yeah, Vader and Mick Foley.
Was the House of Horrors match? Not House of Horrors. Yeah, the Chamber of Horrors
match. I believe that was Halloween Havoc. Yeah, the one where
that was Halloween. Oh, who couldn't?
The Butcher got electrocuted.
I mean, ironically, Hogan and Warrior.
Oh, that match was so bad.
That shit was hilarious, though. Dude, seriously, like if you want to see a match where two people just cannot have no desire to be on the same page,
wrestling separate matches.
They were, and then like they didn't even get the good match. They did like DDP and Goldberg, I think, was the main event, which is wild. That was the main event.
Yeah, I know. Skylar here asks, could Mox's motivation for all this be that he can't take his fishing vacation until AEW has more main eventers? Seems a distinct possibility. It's all all goes back to wanting to take that fishing trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cheese Man says you ignored my membership milestone. Where's your membership milestone? I didn't even see it, dude. Hold on, I'm going back. I'm going back in time. Cheeseman, I apologize. I don't see it here on the thing, but I trust you.
Yeah,
congratulations on your membership milestone. Let me go back here. Oh, maybe it didn't let me. That's the thing. It didn't let me go back that far. No, it did. Yeah, sorry, Cheeseman didn't do the thing. Womp womp.
Chadwick here asks, what are some dream matches you'd have liked to have seen happen NXT 2300 won the ECW arena featuring ECW wrestlers in their prime?
Oh yeah, Tommy Dreamer versus Ethan Page. That's your match of the night. You want that match now? Wait, that match probably happened in the last 5 years.
Probably has. Oh yeah, it may happen in Impact.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Karate Man versus Tommy Dreamer.
RVD versus Nathan Frazier.
Ooh.
Or Axiom or Javon Evans.
I'll say Raven versus Dijak.
Okay. Taz versus Charlie Dempsey.
Lexis King versus Brian Pillman.
There you go. Nate Cruz says, favorite minor wrestling cameos in movies, TV shows. Well, the Terry Funk ones. Roadhouse.
Oh, no. Terry Funk in Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction.
That's what I was going to get to.
That is the best wrestling cameo or appearance in history.
It's really good.
Also Terry Funk in Quantum Leap.
In what?
Quantum Leap.
That's right. He was in Quantum Leap, too. Dirty Rich says, putting a title of any sort on... Oh, wait, this isn't the question. He's just upset that Jericho won a title.
Yeah. CKY Halo. Still my favorite name. Do you think Orange Cassidy will be more serious? I think he is. Yes.
Yeah.
He seems to care now.
Kyle asks, what would an actual wrestling horror movie look like? Be that one like where Terry Funk had to wrestle the dead person for an hour.
So the Terrifier kills Chris Jericho, and then Terry Funk has to then wrestle dead Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Terrifier 4, book it. Ed Keeley says, do you think this overexposure of Chris Jericho is harming his legacy? Yeah, I do.
I do too.
I do. I actually do. Yeah.
He's overstaying his welcome at this point.
Yeah. He really is. And he has been for a little while now. John and Alistair voice. What have been title changes that you were shocked by and ended up enjoying in the end? Jinder Mahal.
Oh, man, that's a question that really puts me on the spot.
Jinder Mahal. I think it was such a bad idea, and I kind of didn't want it. I still don't want it. But his repackaging and his theme song and the Bollywood Boys, they were great.
There was aspects of it that I liked, but the actual title run was not good.
Yeah, I was shocked that it happened, though.
Yeah, I was shocked that it happened. Like his presentation was really good, and that's the lone aspect of it that I appreciated. The actual title run was awful. The matches weren't good. The storylines weren't good. It was just generally pretty bad. But the new theme,
yeah, presentation was great.
Cat Dad 7 says, if you go back in time, get to experience one of these for the first time, but as an adult, what would you pick? Going to a music store or a video rental place?
Oh, video rental place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's still music stores.
Yeah. C Machine, what is the best 2-hour wrestling show right now and why? It's SmackDown because Roman's there.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I think right now it's SmackDown, yeah. Couldn't have said that 3 weeks ago, but now it's SmackDown.
That's all the questions I got here. So
we're going to end on a question. From now on, we need to try to end, and I'm telling this to the chat and to the crowd out there, to the memberships. Every week, I want to finish on a hologram question. This week, until he comes back. Dave Matushek says, with the likes of hologram being out injured, do you think the AEW's injury bug is too contagious for everyone involved? No, he's like the only guy out right now, isn't he?
yeah, injuries just happen. It's one of those things.
It is the kind of thing. That's the good thing about the kind of story they're telling now, though. Like, unless it's like Mox, like one injury isn't really going to kill the entire angle.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they have like a variety of things that they could pivot to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it used to be like you do the devil angle. Oh, man. Adam Cole busts his ankle. Guess what? It's done.
He's AEW Devil now.
Now he's a good guy with 3 other guys challenging one guy.
Come to the ring so they can all beat him up.
That doesn't make any sense. That's crazy.
No, not really.
Yeah, Hosey says, got it. Hologram questions to end every show. Yes.
Thank you.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Tomorrow morning, we've got a count out
We got to
dropping.
shoot that today.
We just got to shoot that later on. And then tomorrow night, of course, we got our SmackDown. And we're going to do, so here's the thing about that. It's going to be our last SmackDown review until after Crown Jewel, because we're not going to be doing Go Home SmackDown reviews
Before
anymore.
pay-per-view, especially with Crown Jewel, with the pay-per-view being, a handful of hours after the conclusion of SmackDown. Like the SmackDown recap will just have no legs.
So I think, we're probably just going to, at the tail end of the pay-per-view, we'll just go down we'll run down what happened on SmackDown. We'll still review it. We're just going to do it on the pay-per-view review show. Gives us like one Friday off a month, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's
November,
nice.
It'll give us 2 Fridays off in November.
Well, 3, because I'm not going to be here for one of them.
That's right. That's right. All right. We'll figure it all out. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Till next time. We'll see you guys around.